Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to share these little Halloween wands that I made, and I am just loving how they turned out. They are so kind of chunky and detailed, and all kinds of yummy goodness on these things. Lots of details, lots of extra layers and chunkiness, and I am just really love how these turned out. These were so fun. So this is going to be a long video. I'm going to go through each step of making all of the details, from the crepe paper rosettes to this little kind of skull clown guy, all the things that I use to create all the different layers, how to make these little cotton candy embellishments, and yeah, just all kinds of just how I made the whole thing. And it's going to be a long video, but I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as possible, just to explain the basics of each step and how to put them together. So thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to need to make for this is these little rosettes here, and I'll show you some smaller ones. So you need to make a little rosette, and you need to make a large rosette. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So for the large rosette, we're going to cut some crepe paper strips. Okay, so we're going to be using just the plain old crepe paper streamers that you can get in the party section at most places. These were like 97 cents at Walmart, I think. But to make a nice little crepe, you want about 12 inches, 12 to 13, 14 inches, something like that, to make a nice length for a for one that is this size. I think this is about 4 inches or so. So we're just going to use that. We need a little needle and some thread, and we're just going to, it's very simple. Even if you don't know how to sew, it's very simple. It's literally just threading the needle, tying a knot, you don't have to tie a knot. I'll show you why here in a minute, but you know, I do just in case. So we're going to grab the streamer. We're going to start at the end. We're going to line up the pieces top to bottom. Just going to start, push it in, and then bring it up. It's literally just an in and out. Very simple. You want to try to keep the distance about the same. So the distance here to here to here, you know, approximately the same. It doesn't have to be perfect, but, you know, and try to keep the distance from where you're putting the needle in to the same area, same distance from the top to where your needle line of stitching is. Very simple, just in and out, in and out. Try to keep your streamers in line. When you get to here, when your needle gets full, you can just pull it out like this. And I like to pull it until there's about, you know, yeah, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches left on the outside. I don't like to pull my my knot all the way up to the thing, because a lot of times with the crepe paper it can just pull through. And also I'm going to need a little tail there for what I'm going to be tying it off at the end. So literally just very quick, very simple to do. And you can also do this on a sewing machine if you want, but I find just it's easier and quicker to just go ahead and do it by hand. Pretty simple. Pull it through. Kind of gather it up if you don't have enough thread. I didn't cut my thread quite long enough, but to make it super easy, but for the most part, it'll be fine. So now we have our threads, we have our stitching, and we're just going to, holding on to this end here, you're just going to slide that down. Slide it from one end to the other. Very easy. You get something that looks like that, and then you take your two ends and you just tie them together. Very easy. Very, very easy. Cut off the excess threads and you have a rosette. I'm going to cut this excess paper here off, and now I have a nice chunky rosette. So look at the edges and you can see that you know, it's not that chunky. Like, this is chunky and this is not. So this has the same number of layers as this one. So what you got to do is you got to go through and you got to pull up each layer, being very gentle with it. You just pull up each layer all the way around. Now, it is crepe paper, so you have to be careful. I think this one I did 6 layers. 6 layers is pretty nice. You can do 5 layers for a little bit less chunky, and then, you know, if you need something thin, you could go 3 or 4 layers, but you're not going to get that really pretty edge like you do when you make more layers. The more layers you have, the more detailed and more luscious it looks, and that's kind of what you're going for with crepe paper anyway. Plus, crepe paper is super cheap, so there's no reason to skimp on crepe paper. The more you add, the more beautiful it looks, always with crepe paper. So, now we've got something that looks like a flower, and if you wanted to make some Halloween flowers, you know, hot glue an eyeball in the middle or something, these would look really cool. So just find the center here, and then find the center here, and you just kind of gently push them back a little bit. You can kind of pull at them if you need to. And just keep working at it until you get around to a flatter section. So you want to fluff it up and then lay it back down. And the reason for fluffing it in the first place is to separate the layers so they're not all stuck together. And then you have to get it, you know, kind of fluffed back out to your pretty little, then you get that beautiful little ruffled edge, and then you can kind of squish it down a little bit more. Crepe paper is very forgiving and loves to be manipulated. So, you know, that's what we've got now. All those luscious layers. So the next thing we're going to do is add glitter. Okay, so for the small rosettes, for these little guys here, you just need one strip of the, you know, approximately 12 inches, maybe 13, 14 inches, something like that. But you just take one strip and you fold it in half, just like this. Just fold it in half. And then you're going to take and fold it in half. Okay. And then we're going to cut it on that end there. And that is all you need for the little ones. This gives you 4 layers and it makes them nice and pretty and chunky. So again, it's just the in and out with the thread. Very simple. Now I'm using a embroidery needle actually, because yeah, that's all I had in my, it's all I could find right now, so. But it works just fine. You don't have to have specialty equipment, just use what you got. So we're just going to go in and out. Now these are, your stitches should be a little bit smaller, a little closer together, because it's a little one. You know, the big ones, it's better to have a longer stitch length. These, it's better to have a smaller stitch length so that it really makes them look ruffled. So we're just going to go in and out, in and out. It's very simple. Even if you don't know how to sew, this is very doable. You can do this in and out. Just visualize how long your stitch is. You want to keep it about the same width, same amount of space between each stitch. Like you don't want to do a small one and then do a giant one and then do a little tiny one. You want to keep your stitches as close to the same length as you can. They don't have to be perfect because it's just crafts, you know. Go ahead, my needle is full. You can see, so I'm just going to pull this down. Pull it down, and I'm leaving my end hanging. I'm going to keep on going here. So now you can see these stitches. They're not all perfect, but they're pretty close to the same length. So you don't have to be super, you know, paranoid, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So if you're not used to sewing, don't get discouraged. It's a fairly simple process that doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just going to do the same thing we did with the larger one. Just going to tie the ends off. Just a simple little square knot. Maybe 3 or 4 times, and there we have our little rosette. Now I have this little bit here that's kind of folded over. I'm going to trim that a little bit so that it's not sticking out. And there we have it, our cute little white rosette. We do the same thing with this. Simply pull all of the layers apart all the way around, and then you know, lay them back down flat again, and then you do the same thing you did with the large ones, where you just put the glue on the edges and dip them in the glitter and shake it off, and then you have a glittered, it'll look about like this. This is 4 layers. That's what it looks like. It's super cute and very, very luscious, I guess. So that is that process, and it's a lot easier than you think it is. So the next thing, we're going to grab some Mod Podge. I've got some Mod Podge in this cup. I like Mod Podge for this because it is so thin and easy to paint on to the edges. And then the next thing is going to be our glitter. I'm just using a clear packaging from some kind of craft product. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like some embellishments or something. Anyway, I just used this little clear bin here to pour my glitter into. And I don't remember where I got this glitter, but I've had it for several years, and it came in this bottle, and I just thought it was really cool. So I've been using this. It's a really fine black glitter, and so we're using that. So the first thing you need to do is take your little rosette and just kind of lightly brush on some glue onto the edges of all of those crinkles. And I'm kind of holding my brush like this so that it's easier. It's kind of a stiff, kind of coarse brush. It's not like a regular paintbrush, so it holds that glue really well. And so you've got a little section with the glues, and now we just kind of dip it kind of tilting it back and forth to make sure that we get all the areas, and then tap it. So there we go. We've got that lovely crinkly looking glittered edge, which looks just fantastical. So we're just going to keep on doing that all the way around. And dip. And go for the next one. So make different colors. Make some purple ones, some green ones, some orange ones, some white ones. You can make, I like to mix up the colors because I'm going to use 2 of the large ones for each chunky wand. So you need to make 2 large and 1 small for each wand, and it will give you that lovely look. I'm just going to keep going here, almost around to the other side. And the last section here. This fine glitter does a really good job of, coating the edges so that, you've got all that luscious glitter, and it makes a very nice rosette. Here's this one in purple, and then I just added the same black glitter to all the different colors just to make it nice and seasonal for Halloween. So I got a couple of spots here I want to cover. Yeah. All right. So now we'll go on to the next step. So here's a little quick tip. I love this this non-stick mat by Jane Davenport. But everything just really sticks to it. I know it's a non-stick mat, but things stick to it. I know it doesn't make sense, but I'm talking about like glitters and stuff like that. Paints and stuff just come right off. But the glitters is really easy to clean up. You just need one of these little disposable lint rollers. Comes right off, picks it all up for you. No problems at all. Very quickly. Love it. And then, and when it gets full, you just peel it off, and it's all new again. You throw all your glitters away. Perfect tool. Love this thing. I have, after a few seconds, a clean area to work in again. If I still have some, I can just roll it back up again, and voila, she's clean. Quick tip. Now then, for the skulls you can get at Dollar Tree. I got these last year at the Dollar Tree, but I have been to the Dollar Tree this year, 2020, and they have the same ones. So you can still get these at the Dollar Tree. They are perfect for this project. So what you're going to do is my first ones, I hot glued this guy onto here, and you can do that. But I'm going to show you a better way I've decided after I made some. Okay, so we're going to take a bamboo skewer. Actually, these are wooden ones. The bamboo ones will probably work just as well. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it up through the center. Center of this little baby. I'll put a little bit of hot glue on here. A little bit of hot glue on there. I just made a mess. And then we're going to pop this up into his head, because I have noticed that with, when I first made these, I just glued his head to the rosette, and then I glued the rosette to the straw, and then I noticed that his head can kind of wobble and wiggle because the insides of the rosette are not glued together, so it kind of wobbles. So I think this way would be better, so that he will stay, his head's not going to wobble. It's got some, good stuff down in there. So these are these straws, and so I'm going to take half of a straw, about half of a straw. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to slide it down on this skewer. I'm going to put some more hot glue on here. And I'm going to slide this up so that it is on there. So the next thing we're going to use is, I found these at Walmart last year. I don't know if they'll have them this year, but you don't have to have these. You could cut out a bat shape of any, if you have a die cut for a bat, any kind of a bat shape would work, or bat wings or something like that. So these look really cute. Sorry, my cats are in the background making lots of noise and being generally annoying. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it right there. And that kind of makes him look like he's got a cape on, So we're just going to put a little bit of hot glue right here. And we're going to glue that on to the back of him. Make sure he's nice and straight. So pretty simple, pretty easy to do. Coming together. So that's his main body, his head and his little ruffled neck there, and then his little cape. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to give him a little bow tie. So we got to have a little bit of this ribbon. You can use any kind of ribbon, doesn't have to be this kind, but basically you just want to take the ribbon and tie a little single knot here. I'm going to keep it kind of close to the end, not waste your ribbon too much. Don't pull it really tight, because you kind of want that to be, a little bit, the center to be a little bit bigger. And then you can just clip off. I like to put it at a nice angle, makes it look more creepy. Pull this end out just a little bit more. And we got him a little creepy little bow tie here. I'm going to take a little spider sequin. You can use any kind of sequin. I think any sequin would look cute, like even like like a jack-o'-lantern sequin or a bat sequin or anything like that. So we're gonna put a little dab of glue, hot glue, very tiny dab of hot glue. Going to place that on there. Oh, some of my light just went out. Sorry guys. Got a little darker in here. My rechargeable light just stopped being on. So there we've got a little bow tie, and we're gonna take a little gemmy, and we're gonna put it on. I'm gonna stick it right there on the spider's butt. Now there's his little bow tie, and we can just glue it, hot glue it right there, and pop that on. Now you can't really, you know, the little spider under his ruffle is not super noticeable, you know, because he's kind of up in there a little bit. But it's those little details that just kind of make a craft and really kind of make something pop well. So trying to make his bow do what I want it to do. It's just not going to. Anyway, so there's his little bow tie or his little cape tie underneath the ruffle under his neck. So that's a very simple, easy thing to do. So the next thing he needs is his party hat, right? So we need a little bit of scrap. I'm going to take a little scrap of scrapbook paper. I'm going to cut a little triangle. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not measuring things here. So this is going to be the bottom tip. This is going to be the open part, or the top tip, I should say. So we're just going to kind of bend this a little bit, pre-bend it so it's easier on us. And then we're going to roll this up. And we're going to keep rolling it until we get to that tip there, because I want a nice pointy hat, right? A nice, cute, pointy hat on this guy. So once we've got that, we're going to put some hot glue in there. And I'm going to use some tweezers to kind of squeeze it closed so that it doesn't glue my fingers. While this is still warm but not hot, you can kind of, you know, peel off any excess there. You don't want to do it while it's still hot, for sure. Don't burn your fingers. So now we've got our little pointy hat. See, I like to use my finger. That seems to be about a good size. As far as, you know, how big the hole needs to be on the bottom. So now we're just going to, end up with something that looks like that. So now we're just going to go around. I'm going to trim this off. Cutting through the hot glue there. So now we've got our little hat. And I like to kind of tilt it. Like, you could just put it straight up and down, but I like to give him a little bit of whimsical tilt to his little hat. So I like to do that. So for the top here, you can use beads. I've got these a plastic bead, a glass bead, a pom-pom. You can use anything with like a little ball shape to it. So I'm just going to use this little bead because these beads have a large hole, and the end of the hat can fit in there if you've got it, you know, pointy enough, so it stays on pretty good. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue in there. I'm going to stick that inside and push it on. And now we have this super adorable little hat with a very Halloween-y looking whimsical ball at the end. So I think I'm going to go with, let's go ahead and glue him on. I'll just put a bead of hot glue on the inside edge. Oops. And this will run down onto his head. I'm just going to hold that until it cools because I'm using high temperature hot glue right now, so I don't want it to be falling off because it hasn't been held long enough. So he's pretty cool. He's coming together. You can kind of see, you know, him taking shape. All right, now that his hat is glued on, I'm going to take some little, I picked these up at Walmart last season. They're just some little jimmies. I think they're just pretty cool. I think I'm going to use black on this one. I have used different colors for different ones. Made some different cute little combos. So I'm just going to stick them on for the moment and get the placement that I want, and then I'm going to take them off and hot glue them, because while they do stick, I want them to stay, you know, forever. So, but I want to make sure I've got the right distance set up first. I think I need to move them down a little bit. Reposition them a little. So I think that's about what I want right there. So I'm going to take these off. Put a tiny little drop of hot glue. And then put him back on. Do the same thing again. A little drop of hot glue. Alright, so now he's got his little dots on his hat. This hat isn't quite as long as some of the other ones that I made, but I still like it a lot. So there's his little hat, and then the next thing we're going to do is get another straw, and this one is a full-length straw that we're going to slide up onto here and glue it. I'll put a little bit of glue right here. And this part's going to be inside of the rosettes, so it's not going to show. But so now we've made this little guy very much stronger because it has that dowel, or that skewer in the middle. You could use a dowel rod that's small enough. You could use, you know, popsicle stick, whatever makes it work for you. So there is the base of him. He's got his cute little hat. We're going to have to put some little rhinestones in his eyes. So we're going to do that next. Just going to grab some of these little ones here. Put a little dab of hot glue in his eye socket. Yeah, but that feels good. I'm going to take my tweezers here, maybe. I'll just stick it in. Give him a really cool kind of a rhinestone eye. Oh, sparkles! All the sparkles. Alright, so I'm going to do this one too. And then another. Oops. I'm going to push his eye down in there. glue. Take that off with some tweezers. And there he's got his little eyes. And he's looking very dapper. Okay, so the next thing is going to be adding the rosettes. So I think I like to use a black one for the background. So I'm going to use that one as his background. And since he is orange and black, I think I'm going to go with an orange topper here. I'm going to put this one on first. I like to put it just under his bow tie there. So, just going to get him ready here. Just gently press, and then he is on his first layer, looking very cute. And I'm going to do the same thing on the back. Okay, so we're going to add some glue, and we're going to stick this one on top. I'm going to gently press these together. We don't want to push too hard because we don't want to super flatten out our rosettes that we spent all that time fluffing up. And that is that part. So he's getting very close. The top of him is pretty much done. You can see. And then the next part is to do all of this. So the next thing we gotta have is a spider web cutout. Now I cut these out on my Cricut. I know they sell them at different parts of the year or different places for Halloween. I think they had them at like Joann's last year, and then I saw some at Hobby Lobby. So you know, it just depends who's got some or who's gonna sell them. So right here, we're just going to put a little bit of hot glue right here because this section is not actually going to be seen. I like to put it off center just a little bit. Push this down. And that's going to hold that in there. So then I am going to set this to the side for just a moment, and I'm going to pull out some of these, some paper, and I have these little, these are like some little labels that would go on your straws. They came with this pack of straws, and I just like the shape of them, so I've been using them as templates to cut my own out. So I think I'm just going to trace around this real quick. Pencil seems to work pretty good for black cardstock, so you can see it well. See, to cut it out. And then this one I'm going to put on this orange here. This one out. Got that. I'll cut these out and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got these two little things cut out. So this one I want to chalk up the edges, ink up the edges, so that it's not just, you know, doesn't have all these white spaces showing. And you're not going to see this layer a lot, but you will see parts of it, so it's good to just go ahead and throw in that extra detail even if you think it's not going to be seen, because it will be. People notice things like that. I do. So we're just going to ink that edge up really good, make it pretty, make it look nice, make it look finished and professional. I don't know about professional, but make it look finished anyway. So, got that inked up. See, that looks so much better now. Alright, so, and then this one, I'm going to take, where is it? Okay, not putting things back where they go. That's a bad thing. Alright, so I'm just taking a Sharpie paint pen, and I'm just going to go around the edge of this, just to give it a little bit more, because it has these silver stars on it, and I want the edge to be silver as well. So I'm just painting on, making it kind of gilded looking, silver gilding. I am a huge fan of the paint markers for doing little details like this. And you don't think it adds that much, but it really does. I'm just going to go around and draw that silver around the edge. It's almost like inking your edge, but you know, making it silver. I don't have a silver ink pad, so this works. Makes it look fancy, gives that little bit of sparkle. Alright, so got that nice reflective edge there, and that looks really nice. Put that back where it goes so I can find it. Alright, so now we're going to use our, I just had it there, it's right in front of my face. Alright, so this is going to go, this is some black foam tape. Just gonna put some on the back of that one. Put some on the back of this one. Like so. I'm gonna put some on here. Lots of foam tape makes it nice and stand up nice, and makes it chunky. Little foam tape does a lot for making interest on the projects. So, done with that. So I'm going to stick this one on first. Okay, I had to recharge my battery, so, alright. So we're going to stick this down. Eyeball it here. We have a nice chunky little embellishment there. So we've got our thing there. So we're going to put this, our thing. I'm really bad about losing words, and so it's hard for me to bring up the word I want to say sometimes. So this is the cutout for the spider web, and then that is just going to go right there. So I'm going to peel that off and stick that down. Kind of nice and straight there. I want to get behind my first layer of tulle and use that to stick it down, because if you just squeeze it, all this tulle squishes. Not tulle, crepe paper. Yeah. So stick that down good. Alright, so that's what we've got so far. Now then, I'm going to create a little tulle layer to go over the top there. I've cut it a square. Just going to cut it into a rough circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's a little bit big. I want to cut that down a little bit more. I don't mind it hanging over a little bit, but I don't want it to hang over like an inch. Maybe like a quarter of an inch is okay. That's a little better. Trim this side a little bit more. Alright, so I'm just going to stick that down there. Use a little bit of my glue stick. Get a nice gloppy gluey layer here. The thicker it is, the better the tulle will stay down. stick that down. It doesn't have to be perfect because the next layers are going to hold them down. So I've got this little word set here. I cut these out on my Cricut and then just glued them down to a piece of paper and then ink the edges. You could use word stickers, you could use the individual word letter stickers and make your own words, etc. But for now, we're just going to pop it on there with some foam tape. Another layer to pop it up. Okay. Stick that down. I'm going to stick it right about there. And it gives it a very chunky, nice and layered look there. So the next embellishment we're going to make is we've got to make a little candy, cotton candy cone. These are so fun, and I got inspiration for making these from a gal. I can't remember the name of the channel right off the top of my head, but I will link it below because I love the little cotton candy embellishment idea, and I do mine just a little bit different than she did because I like my cotton candy cone to be nice and pointy and detailed. But the main idea for it came from her channel, so I'm going to link her channel below, and I'll show you how I did mine. So I wanted the kind of Halloween colors of the cotton candy, you know, like orange, and so right now I have an orange one and a purple one, and they're just so freaking cute. So for this, we're going to, I think I'm going to make decisions. I think I'll just go ahead and use the same paper here. We'll make the little, basically the same process as the hat. You just get a little triangle of paper. You want to pre-bend it a little bit. I really want that point to be bent really good. Alright, so we're just going to do the same process. We're going to pull down on the paper, both ends of the paper, until it creates that nice pointy cone for us. And we're going to slide it in, twisting this so it makes it nice and small. So I'm just going to use this to glue that down. You can see I got a nice pointy cone there. So I'm just going to trim that off, just like we did to the hat. Okay. Now I'll show you how to get the different colors for the sugar cotton candy. Okay, so to make the cotton candy, you just need some cotton, This is some that I've had on hand for a long time. I used to make some Christmas ornaments, felted Christmas ornaments with cotton, but you can use cotton balls as long as it's, you know, the 100% cotton. The cotton balls, you can use those little strips that you use at the beauty salon to put around your head when you're getting a perm or colored hair color and stuff. Any kind of cotton will work. So you just need some watercolors, a little bit of water, and you are literally just going to watercolor your cotton. You're just going to paint it on till you get it covered, saturated. And you want to do that on both sides of the cotton, you know, painting it on, etc., until you get a fully saturated piece of cotton. Now, I have already done these. These have already dried, and let me just go ahead and finish this. So, you get something that looks a little bit like that, and it gets really, you know, kind of soaked in. You can flip over the edges that didn't get done all the way and just kind of squeeze it, because there's a lot of water and excess colorant in there. And you can even do some more sections if you want to. See how that works? So then you've got, so that's what you end up with, some wet cotton that's colored the way that you want it to be colored. So you really just need to set that aside and let it dry. There's nothing you can do with it until it's completely dry. So, you know, just set it aside and let it do its thing. So once you're done, once it's dry, it's like really thin and squished together and matted together. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to have to tear it. Kind of just pull it like this. I had already done this to this one, but you really just have to just kind of keep pulling at it and, you know, kind of fluff it back up, because you want that fluffy cotton look. So this one I'm going to make is for another one that I'm working on, because that one's still drying. That one will be for that, but just to show you what it looks like, I'm going to show you how to put it on there. So we're going to take our little cone. We're going to put a little bit of glue on it, and we're going to do it this way. Just going to start wrapping that sucker around. Just going to start wrapping it and wrapping it. That one's not a very good piece there. You kind of just lightly, gently hold it and start twisting, and it'll help those fibers kind of mesh together a little bit. Just add a little bit more fluff to the top here. And then we have a cute little cotton candy ready to be decorated. So, alright, so the next thing I did was kind of mix up, I just had this little spray bottle from some sunglasses or something, some kind of a kit to clean your sunglasses. Anyway, so I put some mica powder in there. You can see the white mica powder. Hopefully you can see it. And then I added water and a little bit of, just a couple of drops of Mod Podge and a little bit of alcohol to help it dry faster. So I basically made my own shimmer mist spray. You just want to keep it pretty watery, and you got to shake it really good to make sure that it is all shook up. You can use any kind of shimmer mist spray. I like to add this because it has, you know, that little bit of glue in it, and so that it holds that, all of that cotton together. And then I'm going to take some really fine, I've got kittens getting into my things. Take some really fine glitter and I'm going to sprinkle it over. And then I've got this cute little glittery cotton candy. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another one of these little spiders here. Because, you know, it's supposed to be cotton candy, but who's to say where that cotton candy came from? So that's kind of like the creepy element to me. It's just that, you know, well, maybe it's cotton candy, but maybe it's spider webs. You don't know. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on the end there, and I'm going to put my little spider right there. Just right there on the top, just so he's just hanging out on the cotton candy, making him nice and creepy cute. So now it's very glittery. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of chunky glitter here and there, and I'll show you that. Okay, so now I've got this glitter that came from Walmart, I believe, and it has very iridescent, lots of tiny glitters, some big chunky glitters, and that is really fun to just kind of add that on. So I'm back with my brush with my Mod Podge, and I'm just going to kind of tap it over the surface here and there, just adding a little bit more glue, and then I'm just going to dip him in, get him all chunkified. And then if I can't get it to the spaces that I want it to be on, I just get a little bit in my fingers, and then I just kind of sprinkle it on. And just kind of tap it, especially if you've got a bunch of glitter stuck to your finger, you can kind of tap it and the glue won't stick to you. So now we've got a very chunky, glittery, cute little candy, cotton candy, and he's ready to go on our wand. Now this one I'm not going to put on the wand, not the one I'm working on right now. This one is, this is the one I'm working on, and I want it to be an orange cotton candy, so this one is actually going to go on another one that I am working on, and it is going to be purple. So this, he's actually purple and green, so this is what he looks like. So this is going to be the cotton candy that goes with him, and he will be like this. So that is for him, but I'm going to show you, that is kind of like the last thing you have to put on is that little cotton candy. So I will show you how to finish up that wand. Because my orange cotton candy is still drying, I'm not going to do that part for this one, but we can finish doing the last thing, which is adding a bow to the bottom and putting on our little cover spot on the back, and then adding the last little creepy spider. So alright, so I'm going to use this ribbon right here. Is so cute. I think it will be perfect for that. Okay, this out of the way. Alright, so do it like this. I think I got this at the Dollar General at the end of the season last year. And it was like, you know, on clearance, and it was so cute. Oh, I did it upside down. Let's slide that off. And slide it back on. Alright. So, oops, I've got mist, glimmer mist all over my workspace. Hang on just a second. Alright, so just going to tie a bow. I'm going to cut it like so. Cut a little triangle out of the ends just to make it cute. Very cute. Alright, so last thing. Actually, slide this down a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue right here. And then I'm going to slide it back up. So it will stay where I want it to stay. Alright, now the last thing we're going to add is one of those cool spiders, and these were at Walmart last year and the year before. I got this at a thrift store, but they did have these at Walmart. I think they've kind of been carrying these every year. They are pretty fantastical glittered up spiders. And so the last thing we got to do, besides putting on the little cotton candy, once I can add that to mine, is just put him right there, kind of over the bow and kind of overlapping this piece, kind of one little foot up on the wording, just look like he's crawling up onto his spider web, and it's just very, very cute. Pull off all your little glue strings, little glue spider webs. So if you like them, you know, you could definitely leave them. They do add a little bit of ambiance. So glue him down here. I'm using that high heat hot glue, so it definitely takes a little bit for it to cool, so you can't let go of anything. So yeah. Alright, so the last thing I've got to add on that, actually, no, we've got to do the back. But after we do the back, the last thing will be that little cotton candy. You know, you'll just take a little hot glue and stick that cotton candy on. This one's the wrong color, but you get the idea. It just goes right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. Just got a little star punch and a little circle punch. Let's see here. I'm going to do my do him in that color, and I'll do my circle. So I've got him in that color. I'm going to do a little circle in this color. Pop. Alright. Now, if you have one of these little stickers on the back of your paper, make sure you remove it because that will prevent your glue from sticking. So we're just going to ink the edge of this circle real quick. All the little details, they matter. This is like a little, this is a color box chalk ink pad. I'm not sure. I've had that in my stash forever and ever. I don't know if they even make those anymore, but so a little bit of hot glue. Pop that baby down. And then him, I'm going to do the same thing I did to the label and go around the edge of him. Alrighty, so got my star all fancied up on the edge, and then we're going to put this little hot glue right there, and we're going to pop him on right there. And he's got a nice cute little back piece there. And then if you want to, you can add, you know, a little piece of, you know, little word or anything you want. So one of these I put ink on the actual star, and then on this one I just left it blank, but you can add whatever you want. You can add designs there. One last little thing on the back here. I like to put a little, if it will let me, I like to put a little gemmy on the back of the spider's head, or on the back of the bat's head, just to give it a little bit of something there. And then it is all done, and that's how you make one of those, you know, minus that piece there. Obviously, you know, you get your little cotton candy there. So the rest of these are going to have, this one, you know, says "Give me sweets," and then it has the purple cotton candy to kind of go with his purple flourish there. And then this one I wanted to be all kind of monochromatic, which will be kind of similar to this one with the black and the orange, very, very traditional Halloween colors. So it'll be, you know, orange like that. This one will kind of be very similar to that one that's finished up. So that's how that's going to look right there. So very easy to make, but they do have a lot of steps. Materials wise, they're very cheap to make. You know, most of the things are less than $1 from the Dollar Tree, or, you know, things you can cut out of, you know, your own stash of scrapbook paper, etc. You know, things like that. Very cheap. You can get the ribbons fairly cheap. You know, like this was $1, so really, you know, it's basically dollar crafts. Everything was $1, so, you know, and you can make several of, the same thing with just that one. One package of ribbon will be enough for all of them, or one package of skulls is enough to make all of them, so fairly cheap and a lot of fun to make. So I hope that you will make some of these and enjoy this craft. I hope you like this video. And sorry about my lighting going out on me, but I think we made it through okay. So I'm going to be putting out some announcements for a challenge. This will be just a giveaway challenge for a Halloween birthday giveaway challenge. So it is not like my last contest, which was an actual contest. This one is really just a giveaway challenge. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Happy haunting. Bye.